Hi students. So today's lesson is going to be about Pablo Picasso and specifically his Cubist style. So I'm going to be shooting this video today because I noticed that some students had problems with the directions last week. There were a few people that didn't quite understand what I was asking you to do. So this week I decided that maybe I would try a different learning style and shoot a video. This video is going to be in two parts. I apologize. That has to do with me not being able to edit a video very well. So I'm still learning that. And I also am going to be filming mostly my computer today. So again, there are two videos. You need to watch both of them to get all of the directions. Here we go. All right, Pablo Picasso and Cubism. So Pablo Picasso was born in the late 1800s and he lived to 1973. He has a super long name. I'm going to be sending you this Google Slides presentation so you'll be able to look at it in closer detail yourselves. Early on in his life, Pablo Picasso worked with realistic painting. And in the late 1800s, when this painting was made, that's the only kind of art that there was. Nobody was doing abstract art or contemporary modern art. It was all realistic like this. So when Pablo Picasso was in his 20s, one of his very good friends died, which caused him to become pretty depressed for a while. During that period, he painted only with different values of blue. So this is what you call monochromatic painting, which just means one color, and it's just different values of blue. After the blue period, he moved on to the rose period, in which he used red and pink paint, and he also painted a lot of cafes and the circus. So you can see here that he's starting to get slightly less realistic, a little bit more abstract. Pablo Picasso did not just work with paint. He worked with clay, he worked with metal, he worked with found objects, and he worked with wood. So he was just as competent and confident as a sculptor as he was as a painter. So now we're going to move on to Cubism. And Cubism is a style that was invented by Pablo Picasso and George Braque, one of his friends. And in the Cubism style, objects are shown from multiple angles at the same time. And there is a use of geometric shapes, objects and people are abstracted, and objects and people are divided with straight lines. So there's a big focus on geometric shapes and straight lines here. Here are some of Pablo Picasso's paintings in the Cubist style. This one is called The Weeping Woman, very famous. I love how he chooses to just use the blue and the white here and surround it with different colors. This one is called Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. And this painting was it caused a huge upset to the art community. Nobody had ever painted anything like this. He was the first. Remember, guys, before this, there was just realism, and then Pablo Picasso started painting crazy. So, here's some of his contemporaries, that means his friends in the art world. There's Fernand Léger. You can see that Léger makes use of pattern. He also does a lot of work with shading these particular objects. It's kind of hard to tell what's going on. Is there anything realistic there? I'm not so sure there is. He might have based it on objects, I don't know. This is Juan Gris over here, and he just used a couple of colors. All right, so Pablo Picasso was very influenced by African art. He went to a lot of art museums and looked at the African collection. You can see the influence in Les Demoiselles d'Avignon. And you can also see it over here in his self-portrait, where if you look at the mask to the right of the self-portrait, it's almost like a copy. African art did not just influence his paintings, it also influenced his sculptures. This is a very large sculpture that's in Chicago in the United States. So another thing that Pablo Picasso was famous for is his portraits. Often he would have one view that was a profile to the side and one view to the front. So he would kind of do half and half. You can see it again over here. Here's the eye from the side, the eye from the front. Sometimes he would repeat. So this almost looks like two noses on the same face. Many, many people have imitated Pablo Picasso's style. This is a contemporary version. Many people thought that he was a pretty creative guy, so he had lots of followers. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying, imitation is the best form of flattery. So that means if someone copies you, they think you're pretty amazing. Okay, on to still life. So still life is objects on a table, which is what I'm going to ask you to do. If you had art with me last year, we drew still life. We did warm and cool still life, and we used watercolor, and some of you used colored pencil. So again, you can kind of see the view from the side and the front. Pablo Picasso also made use of pattern. Some of you might try that. Here's two other examples. Something you might want to try is to have half of your work in black and white and have half of it colored. I particularly love this piece with all of the beautiful lines, and it's just values of gray. So maybe you're just working with a pencil and shading, maybe you're working with a black marker. Okay, I'm gonna stop this part for now, and then I will show you how to do the project.